agility by Orton.
Wrestling botches aren't just exclusive to wrestlers in the ring. Anything can go wrong at any time, and sometimes it's not even at the fault of the wrestlers. Over the years, a lot of WWE matches have had instances where trademark weapons have completely botched. This can come in the form of a table refusing to break, sometimes multiple times.
He's gonna bust it if it kills him. I think it killed him. So what?
Or even the production crew fitting the wrong type of glass. But when did these moments happen? Well, join us now as we look at 10 times WWE weapons went horribly wrong. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
That's it. On the belly's really punishing Van Dam. Gonna give him another one? Well, at first you don't succeed. You try again. And this man...
Number 1. Booker T can't break the table.
At Survivor Series, may the best man win.
And one of the top feuds on the SmackDown brand towards the end of 2006 was the feud between King Booker and Batista over the world title. Booker T had completely reinvented himself following winning the King of the Ring tournament that year, and he was going all in on the King gimmick.
Look at all this majesty. All of this, and he's still a humble king.
Humble?
Now, the payoff between these two men would take place at the 2006 Survivor Series, where Batista would finally win back the world title.
In the same arena where Batista surrendered the world championship back in January, Batista has won the world title back.
But in order to get to the match, WWE booked a contract signing between the two men on SmackDown, which featured a humorous yet well-saved table spot.
Hey, King Booker in trouble! Step through the table! Batista with a spinebuster! Robbie the King through the table!
Towards the closing moments of the signing, Batista attempted to put Booker through the table with a spinebuster, but hilariously, Booker bounced off the table. He would then execute the move again, and the table finally broke. Number 2, that's not a fake guitar. And during the build to WrestleMania 3, WWE decided to turn one of their top heels babyface for the first time in their career. This would be Jake the Snake Roberts.
Why don't you come and see how the devil's work is done?
Who would enter into a feud with the Honky Tonk Man, leading to a showdown at the Showcase of the Immortals. To execute the babyface turn, WWE had Honky Tonk Man appear on the Snake Pit, which was Jake Roberts' chat show. The angle for the talk show was that Roberts was set to be hit with a guitar, thus setting up the feud. Sadly, it was a real guitar used instead of a gimmicked one, meaning that just before the feud, Roberts seriously hurt his neck from the guitar shot.
But honky tonk, when you take a shot at a man like me, you better make that shot count, and you didn't. You see, I'm still walking.
Roberts revealed in a 2016 interview that it was a catalyst for some of his addiction problems later in life.
I started taking painkillers then because he obliterated 2 discs in my neck. The surgeon said that he'd had guys fall off 10-story buildings, and the disc had not done that. The disc actually exploded in my neck.
He admitted that he was seriously messed up from the botch and started taking painkillers to deal with the pain. Robert would also add that he doesn't blame Honky Tonk for the botch and that there's no heat between the two men for the incident. Number 3, that pesky announce table. The match between Rated RKO and D-Generation X at New Year's Revolution pay-per-view in 2007 is mainly notable for Triple H tearing his quadricep.
The game has hurt his knee. Uh-oh, that's not good.
The injury would occur when Triple H executed a spinebuster on Randy Orton when his right quadricep tore completely off the bone. This was weirdly similar to Triple H's infamous 2001 quad tear injury, as they happened to have both occurred on January 7th. The match also featured a notable table botch.
Shawn Michaels letting the game out. Center stage with a pedigree.
During the final moments of the match, Triple H went for a pedigree on the announce table to Edge. Unfortunately, the table didn't break, meaning Edge got a nasty landing. JR covered this well up on commentary during the match with a fantastic line of,
And the table didn't break! The table didn't give a damn!
Number 4, that dastardly announce table again.
Oh my God! Undertaker stays alive!
As CM Punk and The Undertaker had a show-stealing match at WrestleMania 29, and it was arguably the only remotely decent match on the entire card, and it was unfortunately a match that became synonymous with the problems Punk had with WWE management.
WWE, emotion running through his veins. More disrespect.
During the match, CM Punk hit a top rope elbow on a prone Undertaker who was laid out on the announce table.
Will this be Punk's WrestleMania moment? Here he comes! Oh my! Elbow to the chest!
Unfortunately, despite the impact of the elbow drop, the table didn't give way, meaning that Punk was on the end of a nasty landing.
Oh my God! And now CM Punk back into the ring.
PW Insider reported shortly after the show that CM Punk banged up his knee in the spot where he jumped off the top rope with a flying elbow onto the Undertaker and the announcer's table. People were amazed that Punk didn't slow down and finish the match because he was in a lot of pain. Number 5, look out for that ladder.
This could end very badly. Oh my goodness! Sunset flip through the ladder!
A Money in the Bank 2019 featured an excellent men's Money in the Bank ladder match, but it was unfortunately ruined by a finish which involved Brock Lesnar winning the entire thing, this despite him not being in the match until the last minute.
Brock is the 8th man of the match! Brock Lesnar has won!
Despite the booking decision being criticized universally by fans, that wasn't the most talked about moment of the match, as during the closing moments when Lesnar made his way out to the ring, he pushed a ladder and unfortunately it fell on an innocent cameraman, injuring him in the process, and probably the camera too.
Brock Lesnar! Whoa. What the hell is Lesnar doing?
Obviously, Lesnar didn't do this with any malice intention, but it was the clumsiness on the part of Lesnar, who was no doubt pumped to get into the match, that caused the injury. Number 6, table hijinks.
A tables match doesn't say diva. It's a man's match.
The 2010 feud between Lay Cool, Beth Phoenix, and Natalya delivered in every way possible.
Look at the strength, bad knee and all, by the Glamazon Beth Phoenix.
Despite the feud being given little to no time on pay-per-view and television, the 4 individuals involved put a lot of effort into making the feud stand out from the rest of the card.
It's a testament to how far the Divas division has come that we are prepared to go extreme this Sunday. Someone is going through a table.
The payoff to the feud would come at the 2010 TLC pay-per-view in the first ever women's tables match. The match itself got almost 10 minutes, which for a women's match in 2010 was some achievement. And it's good because the match seriously delivered, with fans loving all the creative spots that All 4 Women came up with.
Has this ever been done?
You gotta be kidding me! The time-honored submission.
Now, the finish of the match was a little bit awkward, as it involved Natalya pushing Layla and Michelle McCool from the top rope onto a table.
That's just a matter of time.
Natalya!
Unfortunately, that table didn't break, so Layla and McCool were awkwardly laying there. Natalya, however, acted quickly and executed a top rope splash onto both women, finally breaking the table in half. Natalya would discuss the finish on WWE's Behind the Match series, stating,
"The table doesn't break.
The match continues!
So, there was only one thing I could do.
Natalya would then go on to call the match the highlight of her entire WWE career. Number 7, unintentional nut shot. Roddy Piper's role at WrestleMania 7 was extremely limited due to a real-life motorcycle accident that left him on crutches and unable to wrestle. Although Piper was unable to compete in any capacity, he did have some involvement in the event in question.
He's on his feet now, look out! He used that crutch and pulled down that top rope!
Piper would appear in the corner of Virgil, who had finally rebelled against his boss Ted DiBiase, leading to an epic showdown between the two on the grandest stage. Unfortunately, the match was rather disappointing, with the fans being more interested in Piper's antics at ringside rather than anything that was going on in the ring.
Look at the guts!
Virgil would defeat DiBiase via countout in a lousy 7-minute affair, but it was the post-match angle that left a lasting impression on fans. Following the match, two referees were trying to get Piper's crutches off him so he couldn't attack anyone. However, Piper hilariously and probably unintentionally threw the crutch, and it accidentally landed directly into the crotch of referee Danny Davis, which was met by a hilarious line on commentary from Bobby the Brain Heenan.
He got the referee good. He doesn't want any help from anybody.
Oh, he certainly did. Number 8. Another announce table botch? Now, the main event of SummerSlam 2000 featured Kurt Angle versus The Rock versus Triple H for the WWE title, and it incorporated one of the scariest table mistakes in WWE history. Early on in the match, Kurt Angle was able to pedigree through the announce table by Triple H, but the table gave way, meaning Angle landed straight on his head, knocking him out in the process. Angle would speak about the moment in an interview where he revealed, "When I went through the table, I was out. Stephanie McMahon brought me back out. When we got back to the ring, I asked her, 'What do I do?' She said, 'When The Rock's foot hits the rope, grab him.' So I grabbed him by the foot and then looked at Stephanie again, and she said, 'Throw Triple H into the steps.' So I threw him into the steps and she said, 'Get the hell in the ring.'" Angle would go on to reveal that Triple H then proceeded to talk Angle through every single spot in the match to ensure that Angle was able to finish the match and not risk further injury. Somehow, the three men went on to have a great match, which in the circumstances is some achievement. Number 9. The Sledgehammer.
Look at this! My God, the sledgehammer! No! He just grabbed the arm! What sledgehammer?
When Triple H initially introduced a sledgehammer as his weapon of choice in WWE in 1999, it was a fake sledgehammer that was used. The fake hammer would contain a rubber head attached to a wooden base.
Look out! Oh my! To the back of the skull of the Big Show!
The only time this was switched out was when Triple H would need to break something, for instance a casket, so a traditional sledgehammer was used in its place. The usage of the hammer would drastically change at WrestleMania 17, as during the match between Triple H and The Undertaker, there was a spot where Triple H hit Taker as he was going up for the last ride.
The sledgehammer! Oh my God! What the hell, The Undertaker?
But in this instance, the hammer broke, which forced The Undertaker to suffer a nasty cut. From that point onwards, Triple H began to use a real sledgehammer in all of his matches, with him covering up the dangerous part of the weapon to avoid any damage being inflicted on his opponent.
Enough is enough! Triple H has the belt!
And number 10, a glass-shattering moment. Now, the final weapon botch on this list led to one of the most brutal matches in WWE history.
He was just laying there. He looked lifeless. I thought the match was over. I thought there's nowhere else we can go.
For some context, whenever you see a wrestler go through a glass on TV, it's always sugar glass, which is completely safe to use and can't really damage anyone.
No! Oh my God! Right through the glass window of the barber shop!
However, in the infamous match between Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon at 2001's King of the Ring pay-per-view, Angle would suplex Shane through panels of glass, but this time it wasn't sugar glass, it was actual plexiglass. As the production crew had clearly forgotten about the planned spot in the match.
The guy that was supposed to have the right panel there so that it would break had actually reinforced the panel so that it wouldn't break during the pyro.
Shane was naturally hurt badly following this error and needed over 50 stitches as a result of the botch.
I'm hurt bad. I can barely move now.
Shane was kind of out of it, but he said throw me through it again. And I thought, oh man.
It was even revealed during an episode of WWE Untold that Vince McMahon was actually trying to get the match stopped due to how uncomfortable the match was making him.
Vince wanted it stopped, and his only way to communicate that was through me.
He kept saying F words, F bombs. And I'm hearing Vince in the background. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, Kurt, do not put Shane through this glass again. Do not try to put him through this glass again.
But there you have it, guys. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.